Welcome to Brush and Beyond, where we see the world through an artist's eyes and learn to express our own worlds. Hi everyone, today we're going to work on our Frida Kahlo styled self-portrait. Welcome back to the second part of our Frida Kahlo art video. Today we're going to be making a self-portrait in the style of Frida Kahlo. For our materials, we're going to be using acrylic paint, 2 brushes, preferably one large and one small, water, watercolor paper, and a paint palette. First, draw the shape of your face. I'm doing this in pencil so that I can go over it with paint and know where I want to paint. Draw your head in the center of the paper, your hair, neck, and a part of your body at the bottom. It should look something like this. Next, we're going to add some details. I added some jewelry like a necklace, and Frida Kahlo famously paints roses on her hair, and so I also replicated that. And finally, I added a pair of earrings. Next, I added some leaves to add some style to the background and also a bird on my shoulder. In many of Frida's self-portraits, she has animals like monkeys or cats in the background, and so I wanted to also replicate that. It should look something like this. Now it's time to begin painting. I squeezed out 4 colors of paints, one for my skin, a pink and a red for the roses, and some green for the leaves in the background and on the roses. Make sure to have your water on hand in order to water down the paint just in case it gets too thick while you're painting. I started with painting in my face and making sure to work around the lines of my eyes, lips, and nose. Be careful and go slow when you're doing this so you can get the best results. Next, I used the red and pink to draw some spirals on the roses on my head. You can do this by working out from the center like you're drawing a spiral. Then do the same with the pink over top and you should get a pretty rose. You can do this with any colors that you'd like. I chose red and pink because they are the most symbolic of roses for me. They can also be any other kind of flower that you might like. Next, I went in with green to paint the leaves in the background. This is what it should look like. Now I chose a color for my background. I chose purple just because it's my favorite color. You want to paint this around your hair and around the leaves, so go slow and be careful. Now I went in with black paint, which is the color of my hair, which is obviously different for each of us, and I've colored in my hair. Next, I painted in my eyebrows. Frida famously has unibrows, but I don't, so I did not choose to draw those on. Finally, you can go ahead and paint your shirt or top in any color that you'd like. I chose pink. This is what it should look like. Now it's time to accessorize. I used white paint to draw the hoop earrings that I had on. These can be different for each of us, and if you don't wear earrings, don't worry about it. Next, I painted in my cheeks with a light red. I then used the same skin tone to go in and blend it in better. I tried to make a gradient effect with the cheeks. Now I take a blue paint and draw in my eyes and the bird on my shoulder. The eyes should look something like this, and in the next clip I will show you that we go over the iris with the black. Here you can see that I'm coloring in the rest of the eye with black. Some of the details in this painting can be hard to paint with a big brush. Try and get a smaller brush on hand so that you can be more detailed and go more careful. For example, this next section where I'm outlining my eye and my eyelid would be really good if you had a small brush. If you have a flat brush like mine, you can also angle it in a certain way. This takes a lot of practice, so feel free and try on a different sheet of paper before working on your portrait. Now I painted in my eyelashes. Again, this is better with a small brush. Now I'm going in with the background and doing a second layer. If your paint looks too thin or you want to change the color, you can always paint over it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Now I'm painting in my jewelry with the same red I used for my lips. This is what your portrait should look like. Now this is the part where your painting can get fun. You can always leave your portrait more realistic in the last step, but I decided to add some more surrealism effects on my painting. For example, I drew the lips and the eye one more time so that my face would look a little bit less realistic but more dreamlike. I decided to use a darker brown and water it down with a lot of water to make a shadow effect. If you need, take a picture of your face or use a mirror in the same lighting to figure out where your shadows on your face might be. For me, this was around my nose, under my mouth, and around my forehead. Now I'm going in with black and outlining my arms on my shirt and also the background with the leaves. I did this to make it look more realistic and make the background look cleaner. Again, these are details that might work best if you used a smaller brush. Your painting should look a little something like this. Now I went in with more details on my face. The surrealism effects, like the lips and eyes, I decided to copy what I drew on my face. I made my eye blue and again went in with black to color in my pupil. You can do this a few times in order to cover up the paint behind it. Finally, I added the eyelashes in and added 2 white dots on all 3 of the eyes to make the highlights. Now you've finished your self-portrait. Please make sure to upload a photo to our website so that we can share your artworks with other artists around the world. Thank you so much for watching. We're looking forward to seeing you soon.